afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. I want to come back and do a follow-up review on a watch I've had for over 5 years now. And this is the Emperor's Grand Dior by Stuhrling. This is my top 2 Stuhrling favorites. I have it in 2 different color variations. Today I'm going to share with you guys the rose tone and brown version. Check that out. So I get a lot of views on Stuhrling watches and a lot of questions on Stuhrling watches, and you know, if you're not familiar with Stuhrling, it's a brand that I had my eye on for a very long time before I even discovered Invicta. I just never pulled the trigger on it. Fortunately, Stuhrling Watches was nice enough to collaborate, send me a whole bunch of watches. I've reviewed a whole ton of them, probably about 10, maybe not a ton, but about 10 different Stuhrling watches. Check the playlist in the description for those other reviews. They are older, so some of you who have been watching me for years know my video camera wasn't very good back then. Lighting was pretty bad. It's a lot better now. So I wanted to do a follow-up video just because a lot of times when the great thing about owning these watches is I could come back and re-review and let you guys know how it's held up, you know, and that says a lot. So if somebody comes to this channel and says, oh, I found the Stuhrling watch, I'm looking at it, let me see what you guys say about it. I can come at you honestly and say, yep, I've had this for 5 years now and it still runs fine. So for those knuckleheads who are like, oh yeah, these watches will last you a couple of years, they're disposable watches, it's just not true at all. These watches are fantastic. This is not rocket science, you know, this is not some space age, space shuttle or satellite. These are very basic. Watch making is pretty basic in today's day of modern machining. So let's check it out. So we have a rose tone case with a kind of a nice dark chocolate brown genuine leather strap, kind of with that faux alligator or crocodile print. Again, mirror polishing on this entire watch. There's nothing but mirror polishing. We have the crown at the 12 o'clock position. I believe this watch has, let's see if it lists the jewels, 22 jewels. It is self-winding. I don't believe it's hacking, but it is hand-winding as well. And this is their dual-time version. So the Emperor's Grand Dior, again, I think it's like their flagship watch in my opinion. They've made it for at least 5-6 years now, and it obviously sells well. You know, people really like this watch. I think when you're looking at something that's a dress watch, they can be kind of a little bit boring, right? Stuhrling really adds some flair to it. You know, they're really known for their just skeletonized watches, you know, and most of them are going to be automatic. They do make quartz, but most are going to have that automatic movement. Now, I don't know who actually makes the movement, if it's an in-house movement done by Stuhrling. I suspect they probably outsource the movement, but don't quote me on that at all. As far as the specifics, you have a 49mm case diameter, and let me just see if they do list the movement. They don't list the movement. Yeah, just have an onion. They have a, let's see. All right, onion style crown. Case thickness 13 millimeters. They call it an extra large case. I'm not sure why they say extra large 48 to 56 millimeter. They might be kind of take into account maybe this large lug at the top. And what this is basically looks like they've taken a pocket watch and slapped it on your wrist. And that's kind of the whole allure of this particular watch. It's really stunning. To me, it's very like vintage, very classy looking. Clasp style buckle with dual push buttons on the side. It does have an AM PM sundial with sun moon dial indicator. Dual times at the 6 o'clock position. You have another set of hands here. That's pretty cool. 5 ATMs of water resistant. And it says here floating stick markers, Breguet hands, floating skeletonized dial with AM PM indicator and dual time sub-dial. And that's really about all they say. They say stainless steel case exhibition back. So I think that these watches, they say this is stainless steel in the case back. To me, I'm not sure if it is. I don't know why they would make the stainless steel case back and then a non-stainless steel watch. So maybe the entire watch is stainless steel and just been plated that rose gold. Again, for anybody who's like, oh, gold finishes don't show up, that's not real gold. These are genuine gold-plated watches like most of the watches you're going to see out there. And it sticks really well to whatever they apply it. So again, if you have some really acidic skin, I know I had a coworker once who he seemed to wear the plating on some of his watches a lot quicker than I ever did. And I don't really have anything that's worn like that. So I think it really kind of depends on your skin. With a leather strap, you don't really have to worry about that. Now, it is to be noted that this strap is kind of proprietary. So although the top of the strap you can replace, the bottom section here, you're going to have a hard time finding something like that if something does wear out. The cool thing about it is that although it is kind of proprietary, you could actually take a standard strap and notch it. although it's not going to be probably as durable as something like this that's made for the watch, if you run into an issue where, gosh, I can't find a strap, it's, you know, they don't make it anymore, whatever the reason, you can kind of customize something to get it to work. So that's pretty cool there as well. Again, really stunning looking watch. They do use Cristerna for their crystals. I believe Cristerna is sort of like Stuhrling's proprietary crystal, but don't quote me on that. You know, like Invicta has their Flame Fusion. Aragon calls theirs the K1, which I suspect is Cristerna, and I don't know much about, you know, about that stuff, so just kind of take that with a grain of salt. And that's about it, really. I mean, it gets 5 stars out of 68 people. A lot of people really like the watch, and again, for me, have mine over 5 years, haven't had any issues whatsoever. The only problem, which I just had bad luck, and I probably bumped it on something, the G is actually falling off. So where it says Stuhrling, it now says Stuhrling. So that's kind of, you know, a little bit of an issue. Luckily, that G has fallen off and gone into the movement somewhere. And I know that really sucks. I hate telling you guys that, but I got to keep it real with you. Again, I have this same watch in yellow, gold, and black, and we've had no issues. So like with anything, you could get good luck and bad luck, and unfortunately that did happen. But rest assured that out of the other 10 Stuhrling watches I have, all over 5-6 years old, I haven't had any issues with them. They all still work. They're all ticking away. They tell great time, and they look fantastic. So for me, it's not really a big deal to have something like that happen. If I was within the warranty, or I was still collaborating with them, I'd probably have them, send me a new one, which they would. But and who knows? They might see this video and say, "Hey, let us replace that for you." But to me, honestly, it's not really a big deal. I don't really care. So let me just throw this on the wrist though and show you guys what it looks like. I love these watches because you have a leather strap. You get that look, right, of the leather strap, but you also have a clasp, which obviously I need to size it here. Let me just go ahead and do that here. And it just, it's cool because it helps to not wear out the clasp or the strap. Now, the only problem I have with getting these on, wearing these, is getting them on. You have to fold over one side, and then as you buckle the clasp, kind of hold it and slide this through what I call the retainer or the bucklers on the strap. So just really cool, just a stunning, classy piece. Now, I will say, guys, Invicta has been kind of taking some ideas from Stuhrling. They know there's a market for this stuff, and Stuhrling's kind of known for their skeleton watches. If you go to the link in the description, I'll link you to their website, and then specifically this watch. There's a lot of different models they have that all give you that really cool skeletonized look. And since I've looked, I've been to their website in a while, they've added some new options. So definitely check it out. Even if this one isn't like your go-to, or maybe you don't like the size because it is 49 millimeter, they do make very similar versions. I believe they make the Grand Dior now in a 46 millimeter version, and they have other 47s. Let me see. This one is let me double check. This one is the 49. Yeah, so it's the full size version. So if you're looking for something in a 46, which is when I got this, they didn't do that. Not that I would have chose it, but I got the Stuhrling Legacy, which is pretty much the same watch on bracelet. This is a 46. So a little bit smaller for those guys who don't like larger watches. But I suspect if you're more of a 42 millimeter guy, this is going to be way too big for you too. So I have a 7-inch wrist. I'm about 5'7.5". This is what it looks like on a guy my size. I weigh about 178 pounds. You get an idea what it's going to look like on a guy my size, my height, and my weight. 7-inch wrist, I mean, it's not. I'd say average might be about 6 and a quarter, 6.5. 7-inch, I mean, it's not big, it's not small, it's right in the middle, pretty average size, I'd say. I think most guys' wrists are in that 6 to 7-inch size. If you're a big boy, of course, this has got, how many am I'm using the second to last buckle on here, or hole. So you can probably get this down to I'd say 6.5. I don't know if I'd go any lower than that. If you have a smaller wrist, I don't know if that'll fit you. You could always take your own, do this at your own risk. I've done it with belts. Burn a hole in here if you wanted to. If you really like it, you got to do what you got to do. But if you have a much larger wrist, you can see I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra holes. So this will definitely upsize to a much larger wrist than mine. But pretty cool, pretty classy, and I encourage you to check out their other models. They have dive style watches, you know, your Submariner homage watches, all competitively priced. Some use Miyota movements, some use quartz. With these movements, again, I don't know what they use, if that's an in-house movement or if they're outsourcing. I suspect they're probably outsourcing to like maybe a Seagull or something like that, but don't quote me on it. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. I tried to make this video a little bit shorter for you folks who would prefer me not be as long-winded. But, you know, it is what it is. I got to give you the information and show off the watch, show you what it looks like. So, again, if I can answer any questions, you know, send them on over, drop me a comment, drop me an email. If you do like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Do click the bell to be notified anytime I upload new content. Currently, I'm uploading content once a week on Sundays, and then usually you'll catch a video randomly on Wednesdays, again, 10 a.m. So, again, guys, thanks for your support. Appreciate you watching. Be kind to one another. Enjoy this fun hobby of watch collecting, and take care of yourselves.